Hello, hello, most esteemed viewers. Yes, I am using headphones. My name is Jekyllstein Gray, and welcome to the first episode of my playthrough of the only Frankenstein adaptation that I actually like. So, just some background. So, as the day I'm recording this on October 30th. 2020, which is a year after the first year after, like exactly the 1 year anniversary of this game's release. I bought it a week later, and then I played it over a couple of weeks. I'm hopefully going to do it quicker this time. And I loved it. And this is one of the only... I think I already mentioned this, but if I haven't, I've already forgotten. But this is one of the only adaptations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein that I actually like. It does change things a lot, because any adaptation changes stuff, but it captures the themes and the essence of Mary Shelley's work. So let's begin. Also, this is going to be really sad, because Frankenstein's a tragedy more than it is a horror story. So I remember a strong light pressing it. Okay. So I think in the book, I don't think these are quotes from the book, but it's been a while since I read it. But I do remember in the book, he describes himself as kind of just like not understanding his surroundings and whatnot. And this beginning really captures that well. Yeah, so this game's gorgeous. Also, I love how even the text looks like the text from Frankenstein. Let's see here. And so right now we're kind of confused about where we are, and yeah, and just for the record, esteemed viewers, I am one of those people who is like, it's Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein. But I don't really care about that. Again, I care more about the fact that, a lot of the power has been lost. In one of my, what's it called? Videos on the Last Door, I talked about how Hollywood kind of ruined, they take away, early Hollywood, because of its moral, like, hang-ups, had a lot of, didn't really, early Hollywood, because of its hiccups, kind of stripped away a lot of the nuance in these old stories. I guess back then they were much newer, but still pretty old. For instance, I watched a version of Jekyll and Hyde that kind of has the opposite point. Jekyll and Hyde is about social norms and how just completely rejecting them can be bad, but also, it's a nuanced take on social norms and whatnot. Because also, when you completely succumb to them, that can be harmful. And the original, and so it's this kind of interesting and complicated thing. And, the Jekyll and one of the first Jekyll and Hyde movies that I watched was like, no, he should have, he shouldn't. It was all bad, and he should have conformed to everything. Where it's like, yeah, no, that's not the point. And it's not just not the point. It's not just like they're going with something in a new direction, but it's actively working against what made the original interesting. Yeah. So right now we're going around, and so I think this is a mild spoiler for this game, but you actually end up coming back here, and it's all filled in and colorful. So, again, this is not how the novel starts. The novel actually starts with someone who is not Frankenstein or the monster. There's a kind of a nesting doll narrative. So you start off with the guy who is not Frankenstein, and he's like... And he meets Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's like, okay, I see too much of myself in you. I'm gonna... In the original text, in the 1818 text, he's like, okay, before you keep going, you're gonna need to learn this and then make a decision. And in the other text, Mary Shelley kind of went into George Lucas and was like, I don't like what this original version says. And she wrote it so it was more... It wasn't just him urging caution, but him being like, oh, woe is me, you're doing the same. Because Frankenstein, making the monster isn't the problem. The problem is treating the monster like a piece of crap for his whole life, That's something I kind of touched on a bit in one of the Night in the Woods videos. Basically the idea is, I've heard people say, like, oh, well, you can't excuse his actions, and I agree, and it's weird because, on the one hand, I am a consequentialist, so I do think that, I do believe in judging people on their actions, not their intentions, but I'm also kind of like, look, he's good, he starts off as good, and literally nobody else shows him any kindness, so no, that doesn't make it okay, but it's also kind of like, well, what were you expecting? So gradually he starts to come into a greater understanding of the world. Yeah, so again, this is not a strictly accurate in the sense of, like, it captures every moment in the story, but it captures the broad strokes, and more importantly, it captures the themes and the emotions it evokes and whatnot. Yeah. The only other adaptation of Frankenstein I really liked was the National Theatre live version I watched. Here. Hold on. Gotta see that again. The one I watched was the version with Benedict Cumberbatch as the monster. Hold on. Okay. Alrighty. It's interesting because this almost feels like a very childish activity, which kind of makes sense when you see the monster as basically a big newborn baby. Oh, crap. Alright, I messed that one up. It's interesting. Controlling this game kind of feels like Spiral Knights. Move the mouse in the direction you want to go and click. But I didn't remember it as that. Here, can I just click to move? Yeah, I can. So that's interesting. All right, what do you got for me, tree? All right, one more time. This is actually surprisingly hard for me. Maybe I just have no self-confidence. Both of those are true, I guess. Oh, this game's so pretty! Look at it! Look at this! It's pretty! I love saturated colors. There's a scene in the play that's not actually in the book, but I really liked it, because again, it captures the, it captures the feeling of the... It captures the... Not just the feeling, but the yes, the feeling, but also anyway. There's a scene where he like sees the stars for the first time, and it's right after a bunch of humans treated him like crap for the first time, and he's like, he like tries to reach for them, and he like shouts in this like exhilaration. It's beautiful. Oh man, I love this game. The game also has multiple endings and some choices, especially later on. Later on, it starts to diverge more from the starts to emerge, starts to diverge more from the book, especially when you get to the endings. But you also have what was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, this game looks so good. Oh, ugh. It's interesting because on the one hand you're like, don't eat that, but then you're playing as the monster and you don't. Ugh. So yeah, there's different choices, but they all kind of resonate with the themes, and some of them actually like go into some of like what people actually wanted in the story. We'll get to that eventually. Come on, I gotta explore some more. So that deer ran away. Can I follow it? I guess not. Here. Is there anything else? Owie! What was it? Freaking snakes. Interesting that there's a snake. You know, this game, obviously Frankenstein is very associated with Eden imagery. Let's see here. Alright. I think it's time for a rest. I remain immersed in my thoughts. Was I destined to remain confined to this corner of nature? Or was there a wider world? There is a wider world, but you don't know what. You haven't seen it. It's into violence, filling the air. Oh, it's a snake and the deer. Intervene. Must protect deer. Go away. Shoo. Be gone with you, snake. Oh, this game looks so pretty. So pretty. This game actually, I think, does a really good job of capturing the feelings, you know, evoked by, Can I eat this again? Okay, good, he's learned. Actually, I want to see if I can eat the berries again. Looks like they're gone. Do I have to decide whether to rest again or not? Nope. What else do I have to say, esteemed viewers? Yeah, so I think it really bothers me that there are some people who just think of Frankenstein's monster. You know, they probably know of the Frankenstein's a doctor, but I don't think they know that the monster was like really smart and really kind, and turns to just be evil by the world. You know. This is another part I think that it's in the book. I think it seems like kids aren't as afraid of the monster as the parents, which is interesting because normally we associate kids with like having a revulsion, but that kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. Hominess. I think that's humans. Thought to be small creatures. These strange small creatures. Kicking this steer. Frankenstein's monster is one of the earliest, like, kind of robotic characters, you know? I think this was one of the reasons I resonated so much with Frankenstein. It wasn't just for a similar reason why I resonated with like the likes of Data in Star Trek. Like, it's not. I also love that you can't understand them. Okay. Obviously people aren't repulsed by the side of me, but sometimes I did feel like this weird outsider, growing up, being on the spectrum and whatnot. But yeah, and he is kind of a I don't really understand, he kind of reminds me of Data in some ways. Yeah, and then everyone's like, no go, get it away, This is one of the OG humans are the real monsters stories, Because Frankenstein's monster starts out as easily the most sympathetic, character in the book, and he doesn't get any kindness from anyone. Well, that's not entirely true, but we'll see. And I do find considering what this is originally like, the idea of the villagers going and the idea of the villagers going and I think the angry mob is actually portrayed. I need to watch. Okay, to be fair, I have not seen the Boris Karloff Frankenstein or whatever, so I probably should have done that before I started to do this video. But whatever. The monster is it kind of just feels bad, and kind of gross that the having if the villagers of the mob, like the angry mob that goes and punishes Frankenstein for his crimes of science, and kills the monster. If that's what happens, that's pretty I don't know. I think that's pretty gross. So I think retaliate would be like throw the stones back at them, which I would argue is also entirely justified in this setting, in this circumstance, but also might not be the most helpful. Yeah. So yeah, if that is how, and again, that's kind of think what I've absorbed by osmosis. You know, the villagers go and they punish Frankenstein for his crimes against God and nature because those are the same thing, and you know they die, and they kill the monster and put an end to it, and doesn't that? I mean, does that seem weird? That's gross, right? That feels gross if you consider it's in the context of the original novel. Yeah. Monster. So this is also kind of a who is the monster and who is the man? You know, this is kind of the original that. I mean, I also really like Hunchback of Notre Dame. So for similar reasons. Yeah. And, oh boy. And here we get the shed. So, how far am I in this? Alright, 20 minutes. I'm planning on going for like the first hour. This game's about like I finished this game for the first time somewhere between like 2.5 and 3 hours. It's not that long, but it was definitely worth it. And I'm playing it again, and I'm very glad about that. Yeah. So if you've read the book, I think you know what this is. If you haven't, Familia. So is this Latin, or is this like just Latin sounding, or are they, or are they, or is it like Italian or something? Chance led me to this cottage. Main cottage is decided to observe its inhabitants. So I'm going to try and go for a different ending than the one I got last time I played this, but I might not end up like that. I mean, look at this game. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's funny, the theme of monsterhood is actually a common thing in these types of stories. It's trying to be, again, one of the reasons why I like it, because I'm not physically disabled, I don't physically look, I'm not physically deformed in a way that society sees as bad. I'm not, you know what I mean. But I do behave in ways that are seen as freakish and weird and whatnot. Especially in my younger years when I didn't really understand. So this whole idea of this story is really powerful. It kind of reminds me of Lindsay Ellis, what Lindsay Ellis said about Phantom of the Opera, because where basically, according to her, I haven't read the original novel or seen the show or anything, but according to her, the original Phantom of the Opera, it ends with the author like lamenting the fact, basically saying that that Eric, I think his name is, or the Phantom, basically ends with him saying like that he was a bad person. He was definitely a monster, but he wasn't born a monster, and the reason he was a monster is because of his actions, and he wouldn't have done the things that he did if society had treated him better. So I think she put it best when she said like, It's a pretty nuanced take for such a it's a very nuanced take for this type of for a Edwardian melodrama. Yeah, so yeah. The question is, will they ever actually accept you? Oh man, I'm feeling like my heart feels like it hurts. Not obviously like physically. I don't have, as far as I'm aware, I don't have any heart problems or whatever. But mental, emotionally. Yeah. Aha, book. It's Paradise Lost, I'm calling it. I think. Not 100% sure. I need to finish Paradise Lost. Yeah, I am a fan of knowledge. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is its own reward. Oh, it's so pretty and the music is so good and everything's awesome. I'm not a fan of Game of the Year stuff. Partially because most of the games I play didn't actually come out the year that I play them. I usually wait a couple years until they're on sale and whatnot. But this game would definitely be I would definitely list this game as my game of the year for last year. Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and with it the White Walkers. No longer hiring. So I love it. Now we get little glimpses of what they're doing. I actually wonder if those look kind of like Norse runes or something. I wonder if there's a meaning behind these symbols or if they're just, random. Either way, I think it works, but I'm curious. Rabbit. So we gotta lure him into a trap. Gotta chase him in there. Gotcha! Felix is like, what are you talking about, dude? Nothing to do with me. He's like, no, I literally have no idea where that dead rabbit came from. He's not God. He's Paradise Lost Satan. And now I'm contractually obligated to mention that Satan was originally the Satan. And that means, he was a prosecuting figure, not technically attorney, but he was a prosecuting angel in the court of heaven whose job was to challenge God. He was a devil's advocate, not the devil. Arts, writers, painters, and musicians. All good things. All good things. And now it's winter. It is now the winter. Well, I'm in like 8 foot tall, hulking, brilliant beast whose only crime is being ugly, so I can help. So now he's like, hey, I have something that they said they had. For some reason I thought there was going to be something that there was going to be in the book. He finds like Paradise Lost, and I love it how Overly Sarcastic Productions. Whoa, I love what Overly Sarcastic Productions said about it, basically being oh crap. Like someone just happens to drop a bunch of thematically resonant books nearby. Here we go. Alright, now I gotta get out of here. Coincidences like that don't bother me. I can kind of understand why other people would bother. They would bother other people, but they don't bother me. It's not God, it's him. It's not God who's protecting you. It's, again, the devil figure. Like in the book, he literally compares himself to Satan from Paradise Lost. And Satan is the protagonist of Paradise Lost. Sometimes this music kind of reminds me of Journey. Time spring had arrived. I knew all about mankind's knowledge and language. That was fast. He is a genius, though. Which is one thing I don't have in common with him. It wasn't the Lord. Alright, gotta get rid of them crows. Shoo, crows, shoo. Move. Get away from there. Stop eating their food. They're gonna starve. Can you find some berries or something to eat? I don't know what crows eat. I kind of would have loved it if they'd been ravens. And if one of them was just randomly like, nevermore, nevermore. I do love the ambiguity in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven about, like, it could honestly just be a raven that has been taught, because ravens can actually talk in real life. So it's like, they could be a raven. It could just be a raven that says nevermore over and over, because that's the only thing it's been taught to say. Or it could be a raven who actually is intelligent and responding. Or the guy could just be going crazy, because it is an Edgar Allan Poe story. Yeah. I really don't like Mary Shelley's changes. The 30, like, again, because she doesn't really change it. Like, she says that it changed. She says it's like, oh, you know, it was cartoon from the start, but she didn't actually change the plot. And it's like, no, it wasn't. Like, you immediately abandoned your science baby, Victor. Like, and he could have done so much good for humanity if humanity had just given him a chance, you know? Playing on the cello. Oh! This part. This is easier than Night in the Woods. Which is good. I just remembered about a game-breaking bug that I found and reported, and it got fixed when I first played this game. I'll point that out when I get to where it was. So this guy's blind, in case it wasn't obvious. A wretch. I don't got a name. Yeah. It was last summer. I went through the village on the edge of the forest. Those are all basically the same thing. Yeah, I've been spying on you for a year. He actually, in the play I watched, he actually ends up having more of a relationship with this guy. Like, the guy actually teaches him stuff. And in the book and in this game, he's basically just like, hey, help me, please. You're blind, so you can't see how ugly I am, you know? Like, help me. And he's like, okay. And then they come back. Spoilers. Well, he's pretty trusting. I mean, it is the truth, so... I'll help you eat, and, you know, I'll do all the things I've already been doing for you for free for a year. Yeah, if I wanted you dead, I would have already killed you by now, you know? Lost at night in the woods. There's nothing to say. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. Jump out the window! Jump out the window! Oh. I mean, you no harm. The devil, kind of. Again, I was created to make an explicit parallel with Satan in Paradise Lost. And it's funny because I can't remember if it's like this in the book, but in the play I watched, the old man is like, dude, what the crap? And they're like, we saved you. And he's like, no! What are you doing? Prodigium. I think that's like offspring. That's why the coolness in my throat was dry. Is this fear? Yeah, probably. Also, you can get thirsty in the winter. Or spring, I guess. In the cold. You can't get thirsty even if it's cold. Whoa! I think that's supposed to be his face, like his reflection. There's tears. Ah, shoot. Take a screenshot. That might be the thumbnail if YouTube doesn't generate a better one. My soul did not recognize this of this grotesque mask. Aww. So in the book, I think this is how long have I been going for? Yeah, 40 minutes. I think that's enough for today, or, well, for right now. I might record some more later today. If you haven't played this game, go out and buy it, because it's really good. And even if you watch my whole series, you can still make different choices, like I did. Main menu. Yeah, so thank you for watching, esteemed viewers. I'm definitely going to keep playing this. Let's see. So if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more and want to get notified, subscribe and ring the bell. If you have any thoughts, leave a comment. Let's see. If you want to see more of my thoughts on whatever and on movies, my Twitter and Letterboxd are in the description. There should be some more videos on the screen right about now. So thank you for watching, most esteemed viewers. I have been Jekyllstein Gray, and I'll see you another time for more of The Wanderer, Frankenstein's creature. Bye-bye.